the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love. Now take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, the kinship we unite in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love.
Wow, how great was that? It's so good to have the choir back. Thank you so much. Let's give them some more love. Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa. I'm Chandra Farnsworth, and I'm so happy to be with you today. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And thank you to our live stream viewers. We are so grateful you're sharing this time with us. And live streamers, if you love watching us online, please consider sharing us with your friends by clicking the share button at the bottom of the screen. That helps us share our services and our community with the world. If you are new to the center and have questions about what is happening here, we have a website, CSLSR.org, filled with useful information. There you'll find our monthly bulletin by clicking the photo of the typewriter on our website. It contains everything happening throughout the month at our center. And if you are new and wondering what we're all about, please pick up a blue welcome packet at our information table. That contains information about our teaching as well as what we have to offer as a community, which is a lot. If you would like spiritual support around something that is happening in your life, we have an active community of licensed prayer practitioners available to pray with you after the service. Our prayer practitioners are also available for spiritual coaching on a fee-for-service basis, and you can find out more about that from our prayer practitioner pamphlet at the information desk. Parents and grandparents, our youth and family program has reopened for newborns and toddlers, elementary and middle schoolers, and teenagers. Our program helps your children and grandchildren get connected with our community and grow on their spiritual journey. Talk to our youth coordinator, Jennifer Caldwell, after the service to get more information and to send an email to youth@cslsr.org. The Youth and Family program runs primarily on volunteer power. Each Sunday needs at least 6 volunteers to ensure our children have enough adults to guide and care for them. Please consider donating your time to our program. Just 1 or 2 hours a month will help us stay up and running. And be sure to tune in to the service every 4th Sunday when Jennifer and our youth will be sharing all that has been happening in their world. And now, if you would please join me in speaking aloud our vision and mission as a community. The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity. We are motivated by a compelling vision of a healthy, loving world, which we call the Global Vision. This vision inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through programs and teaching. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. And we follow this vision through the 5 core spiritual practices of our teaching. Would you please read those with me too? Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, spiritual circulation. I know that somewhere between the music, meditation, prayer, practices, and Reverend Tara's message is exactly what you need to experience for the next step of your spiritual unfoldment. You are welcome here. Now please enjoy some music before our short time of silent contemplation and prayer.
Love goes ahead of me. Love blesses my way. With the power of life itself, it goes forth before me. Infuses all I do and say. It is love that leads me today. Love goes ahead of me. Love blesses my way. With the power of life itself, it goes forth before me, infuses all I do and say. It is love that leads me today. It is love
There is only one, but that one is everything, always, everywhere, all of the time. This very moment, love, beauty, life, mercy, compassion, right here in the voices of the folks behind me, in the music and the message and the community. This creative design is unfolding constantly and becoming more of itself. And it is found in every breath, every step, every laugh, every hug. And I know that I am one with it. It is around me, through me, and as me. True also for each one hearing this and beyond, this connectivity, this openness to the all that is, the great reality. And I bless the message, the singing, the smiles and alive eyes of folks connecting over truth, over delight, and with a heart filled with gratitude. I lift up this prayer. I give it to the one who has already made it so. And together we say, and so it is. Good morning. I am Tamira Hume, and I am a prayer practitioner at our wonderful center, and I invite you to read the affirmation with me. What happened? I align with the self within and am inspired to speak authentically and accurately, and so it is.
On your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Sing it, choir. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Here we go. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey.
While the choir is exiting, I have to share something that I got to see up here on stage that you all didn't. Francisco on keyboards is amazing. Sitting out there, I hear it and I get glimpses, but over there, I could. Exactly, yes. So that all made my creating this talk worthwhile, seeing that. Today I'm talking about Shiva. I was gifted with the opportunity to swap talks with Edward, and I decided that this was a talk that I'd get to learn something about because my view of Shiva was fairly limited. So I'm going to begin by telling you that Shiva is one of the three gods of the major Hindu triumvirate, I'll say. Vishnu is the creator. No, my brain is already off somewhere else. Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is the maintainer or sustainer. And Shiva is the destroyer of illusion. And so that's going to be part of the theme of what I talk about. But I'm going to begin with a story from ages and ages ago. The Hindu gods relish and appreciate anyone who does spiritual practice, even demons. So many, many ages ago, one of the demon lords practiced a lot of austerities, and in return, Brahma gave him a boon. Whenever a drop of his blood, spilled on the ground, 1,000 demons would spring forth. You can possibly imagine what came to the demon general's mind when he realized what his boon was. He and his armies of demons set out to conquer the world and destroy it. Eventually, what was happening on the earth got the attention of the gods, and they realized that they needed to stop the destruction of the world. And so they called upon Durga, who in the Hindu tradition is the mother goddess and shows up in a variety of forms. They told Durga, "You've saved the world in the past, so you've got to do it again." And since that was true, she said, "All right, I'll go and save the world again." She gathered the weapons of the gods and she proceeded to go into the world and started cutting down all of the demons. Eventually, she had destroyed all the demons, and the only demon left was the demon lord. So she started to attack him, and blood began to spill. Thousands of demons started arising, viciously charging at her and laughing with glee. Being the mother goddess, she began contemplating in a part of herself, and she couldn't stop the fury that arose. More and more and more anger, as every time she struck the demon general, 1,000 more demons came to attack her. She became so angry that she transformed into her aspect Kali. I don't know how many of you know Kali. She is one of the most ugly images in the Hindu pantheon that you can imagine. She has 10 arms. She's quite skeletal in form with wild black hair, bedecks herself with skulls, and is the epitome of fury and anger and retribution and all those things which were actually necessary to stop the demons from destroying the world. She used her talents on purpose toward that. She hollered, she stared, and all those thousands of demons that had arisen from the blood, gone. And because the demon lord was no longer protected by all of these demons, she got to him, captured his blood as it was spilling, and eventually killed him. Holding his corpse up above her head, she began a victory dance, absolutely delighted that she had achieved what she wanted to achieve. The gods noticed, and there was a problem. In the Hindu tradition, when the gods dance, often worlds are destroyed. In fact, that's how, when the cycle of the yugas comes to an end and a new world is about to emerge, Shiva destroys the current world. He dances, the Nataraj image. And so here was Kali, who came to save the world, so caught up in the delight of her victory and the joy and the revenge and all of that, that she lost sight of what she was called there to do, save the world, and danced in victory, beginning to destroy it. The gods got more and more concerned, and so they called on Shiva. Here's where Shiva finally comes into the story and said, Durga, Kali, is your consort. Do something about her. So he shouted at her and said, stop! And she continued to dance. He yelled some more, and she continued in her victorious dance. Finally, he realized there was only one thing he could do to get her attention. He threw himself under Kali. She still continued to dance. Thankfully, after some moments, she realized that her husband was under her feet, and she, in her dance, was killing him along with destroying the world. And so she stopped. Standing on Shiva, she came back to herself and to her purpose. She woke up. What I'm going to be talking about the rest of this time today is what you stand on, what you come to that brings you awake when you're in a trance, when you've forgotten your purpose, when you're way beyond that core of yourself that is so essentially important to you. So that's where we're going. I want you to consider what brings you back to your capital S self. Here are some examples of how you get away from that capital S self. First is reacting, not responding. That's probably one you all know pretty well. Someone says something to you, someone doesn't pay attention, someone does something, and everything else falls away. Your button's been pushed, you're triggered, and you just go into an autopilot mode of reaction. In some weird ways, already outside of yourself, addressing whatever's happening out here rather than staying aligned with who you are. That's probably the most common, in some ways the easiest way to get outside yourself. Another one that I believe I'm recovering from is busyness. There's always something more to do and do and do, another and another and another. And I'm so caught up in my doing, my checking off to-do list items, that I forget what my priorities and my core tasks are and what's really important, what matters to me. Because by gosh, I'm going to keep busy and just keep doing stuff. Just keep doing stuff. Off center again, away from who I am. A third one is kind of tricky to explain, but I'm hoping that you may have had experiences of this. All of you have different things that you do throughout the day, often on behalf of other people, at your job, in your home, with friends. Now and then, perhaps, you're doing what you're doing, and you notice how much people around you appreciate what you're doing, are delighted with what you're doing, maybe even need you to do what it is you're doing. And perhaps now and then, that external audience, that external approval so strongly gets your attention and feels so good that you stop listening to the voice that is saying to you, but this isn't really yours to do. This is something that isn't bringing joy and a sense of wholeness to you. Maybe it did originally, but it doesn't anymore. And yet, because of that accolade out there, which feels good, at least it feels good to me to get that, I forget to pay attention to what's going on inside me. I suspect that that may be something that happens to you as well. Those three ways, reacting and busyness and listening to external reasons for doing things, are all ways that we forget who we are. We lose track of that essential alignment within ourselves. So before I talk about antidotes, I want to wander into one of my favorite things to play with, the meaning of words. And for this talk, I want to talk about some prepositions. So are you ready? First, imagine what comes up in this for this phrase, standing in water. Standing in water. For me, I see myself as an individual, as separate, noticing the water that I'm in, perhaps its temperature, its depth, whether there are ripples or waves. It's an experience that I have of something else, standing in water. Next preposition, standing for water. What comes up when I say standing for water? For me, one of the things that I recognize is what we say a lot in this teaching, Science of Mind, that we want to be for things, not against them. So, for example, we are for equity and against injustice. We are for peace, not against war, and so on and on. I recall some years ago, the Native Americans in North Dakota were protesting the completion of a gas pipeline. And when they met with outsiders and the press to talk about what they were doing, they had a very interesting explanation of what they were actually doing. They said, we're not really saying no to the pipeline. We're protecting the water. We are water protectors. There's so much more power in standing for the purity and the sacredness and the essentialness of water than simply saying, no, we don't want that pipeline here, without highlighting the why, the power, what they were actually standing for. So that's the for preposition. Now comes the one that we're actually talking about, standing on water, or standing on Shiva. When I wrote that out and started to think about it, standing on water, there was kind of a weird sense of awe and strangeness that came up, and almost immediately I leapt to Jesus walking on water and the story of him and the disciples. And it actually has something important to say about what matters when we stand on something. In Matthew, the story goes something like this. Jesus was strolling or pacing along the shore of a lake, thinking about things. And at some point, he started approaching his disciples who were out in a boat in the middle of the lake. The good old disciples saw this and panicked, not knowing what was happening. Peter, being a little more gutsy, called out and said, if you're Jesus and not an apparition, ask me to go to you across the water. And Jesus said, come. So Peter stepped out of the boat and began walking across the lake to Jesus, who was standing in the middle of the lake, now closer to the boat. Suddenly he realized it was kind of a windy evening, and the water was a little bit rough, and oh my gosh, what am I doing? And began to sink into the lake. Some of you may remember what Jesus said. This version is from the inclusive Bible. And let me find it exactly as it was said. Jesus saw him sinking and said, "You have so little faith. Why do you doubt?" Peter was standing on the water, and then he lost faith. He doubted what he was doing. He doubted the truth of what Jesus was about. I don't want us to explore that particularly right now, but I want us to consider those elements of our values, of our core beliefs, of what really matters to us. How strongly are we standing on them? How strongly do you stand on who you are and what you are? It makes a world of difference. So I promised that I'd give you some antidotes to when you're caught up in being something that you really don't intend to be, for whatever reason. The first is that you must know yourself. All of the other tools that I'm going to talk about are centered in the fact that you have an awareness of your purpose, what matters to you, who you are, and that you accept and value yourself. That you're not in that odd limbo of needing to fix and polish and improve, so that you're not really in yourself. You're in that someday I'll be self. It's absolutely essential that you learn to know and trust and love yourself. Some years ago, Howard Thurman, who was a remarkable Renaissance man, a minister, a professor, a civil rights activist, a poet, all kinds of things, was speaking at the graduation of the 1980 class at Spelman College. He talked with them about listening for the sound of the genuine. Here's what he had to say. There is in every person something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine. There is in you something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. Nobody like you has ever been born, and no one like you will ever be born again. You are the only one. If you cannot hear it, you will never find whatever it is for which you are searching. You are the only you that has ever lived. Your idiom is the only idiom of its kind in all the existences. And if you cannot hear the sound of the genuine in you, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. The sound of the genuine is flowing through you. Don't be deceived and thrown off by all the noises that are part even of your dreams and your ambitions when you don't hear the sound of the genuine in you. Because that is the only true guide you will ever have. And if you don't have that, you don't have a thing. Cultivate the discipline of listening to the sound of the genuine in yourself. It's always there. It's always speaking, always guiding and loving and present. We must listen. In getting to know yourself, there are a variety of ways you can do it. I recently was watching a a webinar where there was an interview with Stephen Lewis. He leads and instigates change and healing in faith communities, higher education, and social justice entrepreneurships. He is that amazing. Any of you who would like to see more of him, I can give you a link to the interview. He has something he uses in organizations called CARE. It's an acronym, and it's actually something useful not just in big institutions, but in individuals and groups. Here's what CARE stands for. C, create hospitable space for the inquiry. That's beginning from a place of love, courage, and trust. A, ask self-awakening questions. Curiosity inquires without expectations or judgments. The R is for reflect theologically together. He is a minister. What that means is basing the reflections on spiritual values and practices. And it is Stephen's belief that such reflection is best done in community. And the E stands for enact the most faithful step. Know what is genuinely yours to do. Create a space that welcomes inquiry. Ask awakening questions. Reflect from a spiritual perspective. And enact the next authentic step. That clarity is your wake-up call from the dreams of who you aren't. Here are some Shiva tools to bring Kali back to center, and they also work in the whole exploration of who you are. First, practice, practice, practice. We say that for a variety of reasons. This morning, what I want to focus on is that the more you practice, the more natural being in prayer or meditation or mindfulness or walking in gratitude is natural. It's not just something you do and, oh my gosh, now what? I better pray. It's a part of who you are each and every day without its being a should. Oh, it's 10:30. I should meditate by now. Oh, it's time for bed. I have to get that gratitude journal done. No, 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 no. It's something that comes naturally to you as a blossoming of that inner aliveness. Second, when I'm caught up in something, whether it's worrying about what's going to happen or berating myself for something I did or didn't do, there are times when I can't get out of that hamster cage. I just keep running, running, running. That's when friends, colleagues, and others and their ability to remind me of who I am are so important. Chandra mentioned in the opening announcements, we have after-service prayer. And I invite you on Zoom or in person to take time for that laser glance into the truth of who you are. I also invite you to consider one of those spiritual coaching sessions. There is a fee. It's sliding scale or fixed. You'll have to ask the practitioner that you want to meet with. But it's worth your time and resource. It can be life-changing and life-affirming. Third thing, begins with prayer. Offer up whatever it is that's challenging you. Even if it's a non-5-step prayer like, help, I'm so angry at my relative, I don't know what to do. And so it is. Done. Then take a break. Go out in nature. Go get some coffee in a coffee shop. Call a friend. Take a bath. Do something that totally shifts you out of the hamster wheel. Actually, here's my invitation. Do something that playful that isn't productive. Playful and not productive. We are not meant to be product-focused people. We are meant to be joy and freedom and aliveness beings. So, one of the best antidotes to being stuck, take a break. And if you feel guilty, set a timer. Say, okay, I'm only going to take a break for 15 minutes, but right now, I'm goofing off. It's amazing what that simple shift in perspective can allow. And at some point, guaranteed, something will come up in your mind or in seeing something or hearing a song or whatever that's a response to that brief prayer that you offered before you took that break. I promise that if you take the time to pay attention and be present. So those are 3 tools for being who you are, for remembering your purpose, for aligning with that incredible beauty within you. Knowing yourself, loving yourself, accepting yourself, your amazing, unique, only one ever on the planet self, just the way you are and just the way you are not. The sound of the genuine is how Howard Thurman describes that listening to your inner voice and letting it guide you. It is the source of our life, our creativity, our wisdom, our joy. In closing this talk, I want to share an exhortation from our founder, Ernest Holmes, found in Ideas of Power. Listen carefully to what he has to say. Do not, please, wait till you know more, get more spiritual, get a bigger understanding, and feel more weak in the stomach. Please do not wait. The garden that isn't planted won't grow. The seed that is not sown will not flourish. The word that is not spoken cannot act. The prayer that is not said and accepted cannot be answered. Remember this. You are the person. This is the place. Now is the occasion. Right here is the time. The word is in your own mouth. You are good enough. You know enough. You are spiritual enough. You are good enough. You know enough. You are spiritual enough. Each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. Our community thrives in the light that shines forth from each one of you. And we amplify that light together. Let yourself shine. Now, please join me in prayer. Breathing in. Settling into that center within, that place of aliveness, of love, of wisdom and joy. There that all in all abides within me and around me and beyond me, everywhere present. as that aliveness is expressing in, through, and as me, so it is expressing uniquely and perfectly in, through, and as everyone who hears these words. In each and every moment, it is there, always. Ours is to listen and delight with it, in it, as it. Resting in this amazing truth, this freedom, this possibility, I know for each of us, there is a voice within that yearns for fuller expression. There is a voice within that knows that all is unfolding beautifully and well. There is a voice within that supports, encourages, guides, and laughs and cries with us, as us, always. One. 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 This I know, spoken and reminded. I release this word into law and into love. And together we say, and so it is. Take another breath, maybe shake your shoulders a little bit as we move into our time of the practice of circulation. It's interesting when ministers are invited to speak outside our community. One of the questions that we always ask is, do you want to do the offering? And the answer, sadly, is usually, no, you guys can do that. Or you people can do that. For me, it's a lovely way of recentering after a talk in the amazingness of life. In our practice of circulation, we recognize the gifts that we receive and we give back that which is ours to give. It can be time, it can be presence, it can be funds, it can be listening to someone. Each of us receives and gives as easily as we breathe in and out. So in that recollecting, I tell you the logistics of it. You can text to give. There's the number. You can go to our website and find the /donate page, and you can donate that way. You can do it painlessly as you buy food if you're local at Oliver's and get 3% back for the center. All of those are possibilities, ways for you to give naturally, easily, as part of who you are. And since you're here in the sanctuary today, many of you, I ask the ushers to stand because we also pass the baskets. And as you reflect on what you have received and what you give and the joy of both, I invite you to repeat these words after me. I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Beyond these walls, there's a whole world that's spinning, they say. It's all about losing and winning, but I know that's a lie. And this is just the beginning, and the future is in my hands. We're building a place where everyone can belong, woven together like the notes of a song. Open open up my mind, I open up my heart, and I run my race, and I play my part, building a place where everyone can belong. Beyond these names, that beyond all these colors, we're one family. And we are sisters and brothers, and all I want to do is bring the best out in others, 'cause together the world is ours. We're building a place where everyone can belong, woven together like the notes of a song. I open up my mind, I open up my heart, and I run my race, and I play my part, building a place where everyone can belong. Can belong, woven together like the notes of a song. I open up my mind, I open up my heart, and I run my race, and I play my part, building a place where everyone can belong. Yeah, we're building a place where everyone, building a place where everyone, building a place where everyone can belong.
Thank you to our wonderful choir and our beautiful band. Thank you so, so much. It was lovely. So now it's time to find out what's going on in our spiritual community. We have a number of volunteering opportunities here at the center, and because there are so many ways for you to serve and connect, we created a pamphlet that shows all the different functions and ways that you can participate. So you can take one. They're out at the information table, and if you're interested in signing up to do some selfless service, then that is a way to find out what's needed. It's that time of year again for us to choose our 12 nonprofit partners for 2024. Each year, our center donates to 12 nonprofit organizations doing good work in Sonoma County and beyond. And these organizations are submitted by you, our community. If you know of a nonprofit organization doing good work in the world and would like us to support them financially, please click the photo of the children on our website. We're especially interested in receiving nominations of organizations that elevate youth and families. We will collect submissions throughout July, and the new partners selected by our Giving Intention team will be revealed in October. This Wednesday, join Reverend Sayota for our Wednesday evening service at 7 p.m., where we will be going deeper into exploring the many ways we can cultivate gratitude in our lives. We will have tea and goodies and freshly baked bread and meditation music by Christopher Fritchie. Reverend Russ has an upcoming spirit walk this Saturday, the 24th at 10 a.m. This month we'll be walking at the Valley of the Moon Trail at Sonoma Valley Regional Park. Valley of the Moon Trail at Sonoma Valley Regional Park. Bring your kids, grandkids, and dogs, and this is an easy 45-minute hike out and back on the trail. You can RSVP on the website by clicking the photo of the sneakers. We have a number of classes coming up in July and August, and there's a flyer for that as well you can get at the information table. Dr. Edward is teaching a workshop on Saturday, July 23rd at July 23rd at 1 p.m. called Open Yourself to Receive. Spiritual circulation is one of the 5 spiritual practices, and in this workshop, Dr. Edward will guide us in identifying what we want to receive more of, how to nurture receptive states of being, and let go of limiting beliefs, and cultivate gratitude. Sign up on our website by clicking the photo of the crashing waves. Reverend Sayota is teaching spiritual economics on starting Monday, August 7th at 6 p.m. for 8 weeks. In this class, you will explore your conscious and unconscious beliefs about financial prosperity and your relationship to spirit and money. Discover how your beliefs and receptivity shape the abundance in your life. Sign up on our website by clicking the photo of the rainbow. And then on Sunday, August 13th at 1 p.m. after the second service, Dr. Edward is teaching a workshop called Moving Forward with Clarity and Conviction. Say what you mean. This workshop will help you gain a clear understanding of how to reframe stressful ideas in your life into authentic and powerful, positively framed statements for use in focused spiritual practices, such as affirmations, affirmative prayer, and visualization. Sign up on our website by clicking the photo of the daisy. Our center is partnering with First United Methodist Church and First Congregational United Church of Christ to provide backpacks and school supplies for students in preschool through college. Bring a backpack to the center in July filled with school supplies for a student in any age group. Small backpacks with art supplies are suggested for toddlers and preschoolers. To see a specific list of requested supplies, get more information, and to get more information, click the photo of the backpacks on our website. You can also share school supplies without the backpack, and we will pass them on. Finally, last week, Dr. Edward shared some good news stories, and this week, they put together a list of the resources and the links that you can use if you want to access those sites. That's also at the information table. We've also set aside a portion of our community bulletin board for you to write a thank you note to someone you love. Be sure to check that out in the social hall and write as many notes as you like as you embrace gratitude. We know that you will fill up that space in no time with so much gratitude. So thank you for being here today, and have a wonderful week.
Now it's just about time for our closing prayer and benediction. I want to remind you again, if there's something incomplete in you, a sense of sadness, or you cried yourself to sleep last night, we have after-service prayer both on Zoom and here in the sanctuary if you happen to be with us this morning. So if you are comfortable, please stand and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and inspired by a presence that expresses itself in you, as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do, say, and think, we honor this presence within. So now I thank you for coming. Please enjoy the closing music, and I'll see you out in the social hall.